How's it going, everyone? My name's Brent Dorky, and now let's get dorky. So before I get into today's video, I want to give a huge thank you to ProPlanty. I know a lot of you have probably heard of him from the Reversal Shoutout, since a lot of you are coming from the Reversal Shoutout, but he's actually been part of this little kind of group that us smaller Pokemon Go YouTubers have kind of created. Big Daddy Red got us all together kind of a little while ago. I talked about it in my video shouting out these smaller channels, and we kind of decided that we'd shout each other out, basically all of us kind of smaller Pokemon Go channels, at least in this community. He did try and reach out to others that didn't respond, so if you're like, hey, how come these guys didn't get shout out, or how come, these guys didn't shout you out, it's because they didn't respond to Big Daddy Red's emails, most likely. But other than that, I just want to give a huge shout out to ProPlanty for actually shouting me out. I really appreciate it. It means a lot, and to have someone who has his subscriber count actually shout me out has always shown growth for this channel. I haven't had anybody his size other than Reversal ever, so thank you so much for that. And also I want to talk about, I guess, I heard on the radio today that today is the scientifically and statistically the worst day of the year for people. It's the most depressing day of the year. The holidays are pretty much over, and when it comes to Pokemon Go, there's nothing going on, so that just makes it worse. And the weather statistically in years hasn't been great, although today it was pretty good for me in my area. But I wanted to let you guys know that today was one of the happiest days in my life, and I think a lot of that has to do with you guys subscribing and showing your support for this channel. I don't think I've gotten one negative comment, and even if I have, there has been an overwhelmingly positive feedback from you guys and community from you guys coming from Reversal's channel, and it means so much to me to have such a positive community coming in to be a part of this community. Like, that's basically what I wanted, and if you go back to my older videos, you'll see that I have always wanted a community, and that's the main reason I started YouTube. Obviously, I have a dream to do it as a full-time thing, so do most YouTubers who at least start somewhere, and most people who do start YouTube have that dream in mind. But the biggest thing for me is a community, and that's something that I've always kind of envied from some of those bigger creators, and just to have a positive one, which is very rare, especially on YouTube. And the community that I've obtained from the Reversal Shoutout and just from numerous things have been amazing, and I appreciate that so much. And because of that, you've made this day amazing, and I hope your day was good. I hope it wasn't very depressing, and if it was, always try and seek help to other individuals. Talk to your family, your friends about your issues. I know that's always helped me out a lot. And honestly, YouTube has been a great kind of therapy for me, and I'm sure for a lot of other YouTubers, just kind of talking to the camera and talking to you guys and getting your feedback and stuff like that, especially with such a positive community. So with that said, let's jump right into the video. So I'm going to go into something that I found a little while ago. This was posted a couple days ago by Albert Choi. Now, I don't know if he's a YouTuber. For some reason, I think someone linked me to him and he's a YouTuber. I'm not really exactly sure, but I was linked to this article, and this is basically Pokemon Go version 2 concept, and I really like a lot of the ideas in here. Now, I've only kind of skimmed this. I haven't actually taken a lot of time to read this, so there might be some things in here that I don't really know myself. I mostly just looked at the pictures, to be honest with you, but there was a little bit of reading involved, and there is actually quite a bit of reading involved. So this video might be a little long. I don't know exactly, hopefully not too long, but there are some really awesome concepts in here that I do think if Niantic implemented these would really improve the game. There's also some that probably should be altered, and Niantic could kind of probably work around fixing some of these other things and just kind of improving on some of these concepts, but I think a lot of these are really well thought out, and the graphics that go along with them are very well done. Albert actually put a lot of hard work into this, and I very much appreciate that, so I wanted to basically, go over that in a video, and also the link to the article will be in the description below. So let's get right into it. So he starts by saying, let's start with the Pokedex. We already know that Niantic is preparing a rollout of new Johto region Pokemon. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I thought I would add it anyways. Now, there is the 251 Pokemon in the new Pokedex. So as you can see, you have the Kanto Pokedex, and then he has here, it's split up to a Johto Pokedex, which I think would be kind of cool to have a Pokedex that's like split by region rather than just kind of scrolling all the way down and seeing all the Pokemon. But either way, it doesn't really bother me too much, but it's cool to see here them kind of split up, and you can see some of the models that are used. A lot of the models here, you can see like the Typhlosion model and stuff are obviously not from Pokemon Go, but he had to get that from other places. So he come up with a new tracker somewhat. I decided to add the popular and widely controversial footprint feature back in. No, I didn't remove the current tracking system, but this is another way for trainers to find Pokemon. I know there is a Celebi there, but I'll get to that later. So there's a Celebi in this image, actually. But so this is his take on the tracker. You should have footprints and you should have nearby. Now, the one reason why I don't think this might work is because Niantic got rid of the footprint feature because there was a big bug with it where it wouldn't work and it taxed the servers way too much. So I don't know if they'd actually be able to implement that, but I would like to see the footprint feature back, especially because I did really enjoy that feature and it made me explore a lot more than I do now. So this is how it works. Footprints can be scanned using a new item called the footprint identifier. You'll see here there's a lot of items he talks about, new items that he's kind of concepted. When the footprint is scanned, it will identify the Pokemon and will show the distance and now direction and where the Pokemon is located. If I were Niantic, I would use this feature for more rare Pokemon, so it adds a bit of difficulty to the game, which I think is something that could be implemented in a good way. Now this feature isn't available all the time. You need batteries to activate the footprint identifier, which is part of new items class, which we'll get into later. So this is basically the picture of what he talks about. So you have the footprint identifier scanner. You can use like this consumable battery that you'd be able to get. I'm sure Niantic would try and make money off of that, but you could use a battery to scan for a Pokemon, especially if it's a rarer Pokemon. You'll get the direction and how many footprints away it is, and I actually really like this idea. Again, I don't know if it could be implemented, but it's really cool to kind of add something on top of just trying to find a Pokemon. Like you're adding a whole nother feature to the game that makes it a little bit more interesting and kind of makes it a little bit more fun, which I think is something that definitely should be implemented in some way into the game, because as of right now, tracking Pokemon isn't very fun. It's not very unique. You just either know where they are, they're around a Pokestop, or you know that they're around you somewhat in the sightings, and that's not really that engaging. I think a method like this would be actually very cool if they could implement it. Now, shiny Pokemon. Looks like the Cyndaquil we caught was a shiny variation. Shiny Pokemon were also introduced in the Johto region. Now, encountering a shiny Pokemon will be extremely rare, and will have a different color scheme than regular Pokemon. In addition, sparkle effects will be shown, and 3 red stars will be beside the Pokemon's name. I tried keeping the legend as true to the original Pokemon games. Good luck in finding these extremely rare Pokemon. Now, Niantic has actually talked about adding shiny Pokemon into the game, and there's already shiny code in the game file. If you go to the Sylph Road, you'll find that they found through data mining that there is actually shiny variants in the code. So those will definitely come. I think it would be cool if they added something to the name like that, like the 3-star thing. Try and keep it as, close to the original games as possible. But I'm not really sure if they'll do it. If they don't, it's kind of stupid that they don't, because it's such an easy thing to do. But either way, I know that these are coming anyway, so I'm excited for that. Then we have new game modes and features. Now, this is something that I find really interesting, and I actually really like this method, this way of having kind of game modes. Obviously, trading and battling is something we always wanted, but the journey thing is really cool, and I'll go into that now. So he says, so there are finally new modes in this version of Pokemon Go. I'll go ahead and break them down to you. Trade Center, a feature every Pokemon trainer has been begging for, is finally here. More trainer to trainer is great for the game and also Niantic. Yes. Journey, although the objective is to catch all the Pokemon to become the Pokemon Master, this will showcase a trainer's versatility and abilities. We'll go into that a little after. Battle Center, another feature Pokemon trainers have been wanting. Battle for bragging rights and a new way to train your Pokemon so it becomes even stronger. Pokedex, obviously 151 to 251, 100 new Pokemon with Gen 2. Pokegear, which you can see up here, is like an iPhone in the Pokemon world. With Pokegear, you are able to communicate with other trainers. We've now integrated this into Pokemon Go, which would be nice because you can actually do that in a lot of the handheld games. Pokemon, this is where all your Pokemon are. And items in shop, he actually combined both of these because why not? I mean, you're buying items from a shop and then your items are there. So it makes sense that if you're going to add all these extra features that you're also going to combine items and shop. So that's awesome. So he's going to go into a little bit more in depth now. So trading in Pokemon has always been in its DNA. Whether it's been through a link cable or even with trading cards, it's a way to discover and obtain new Pokemon, which is why we really need it in the game. Rather than investing hours or even days looking for a specific Pokemon, trading helps trainers obtain the Pokemon they are looking for. It helps both trainers achieving their goals. So before I continue reading, you can see some of the pictures here. We have, he has it set up where you can trade 3 at a time, up to 3. Imagine these Pokemon in the game. Imagine trading a Meryl for a Mewtwo. And then you would have, Meryl was traded for Ampharos, you'd get that. It would take a certain amount of Stardust apparently, and you'd also get some candies. And then you'd have your trade history here rather than like a journal. It would show you what you got, what you obtained, and what you lost through these Pokemon. I'm sure that probably has to do with maybe catching them and how much Stardust you put into the Pokemon with the candies, but I'm sure he divulges that a little bit further down. So let's see how it works. Trade block. A trainer can add up to 3 Pokemon on the trade block for Pokemon they choose to receive in return. Note, the Pokemon you put on the trade block is available to all trainers in Pokemon Go. It will automatically complete a trade if the trade matches with another player. So basically, you would just search for the specific Pokemon you wanted, and the second it matched with any trainer that had those, you'd get them. I decided to avoid direct trainer-to-trainer trading simply due to the potential of cheating. This provides an experience where both trainers get what they want. The bottom white bar shows the time remaining before the Pokemon is removed from its trade block. I haven't decided on the time frame, but I was thinking 2 hours. Promotes engagement for Niantic. You cannot edit the trade block once Pokemon is already active. So basically, you'd throw a Pokemon in there that you'd want to trade, and then you would, I'm assuming, wait a certain amount of time, and if the Pokemon wasn't traded out by then you would get the Pokemon back, and you would have to try again later. Stardust and CP. I decided to add Stardust as compensation for difference in CP of Pokemon being traded. For example, my cute Meryl was traded for this awesome Ampharos, but my Meryl had much lower CP. So as compensation for the other trainer receiving my lower CP Meryl, they receive an additional Stardust from myself and the difference of CP points. Both trainers will receive candy for their Pokemon as well. You would receive 3 candies if you've never had the Pokemon in your Pokedex, and only 1 if you already have that Pokemon. This will avoid candy farming. So basically, he's kind of covered all the bases here. So instead of having like set, if you're going to trade like, oh, I want a CP, this CP Pokemon, this exact CP, instead of having to wait and hope that someone has that exact CP Pokemon, you wouldn't get the CP you want. It would just give you the extra Stardust depending. So if you didn't have, if you were trading a Pokemon that had a lot higher CP than the Pokemon you were trading for, you would get that Stardust back, and vice versa. You would lose the Stardust if you were trading a lower CP Pokemon, which I think pretty much makes out for it. The only thing that this doesn't really cover is IVs and, movesets. You don't want to then trade your 100 IV Meryl, not that you would, for, a 20 IV Ampharos. That would really suck. So I guess we'll have to figure that out if Niantic actually decides to implement that. And the candies, I think that's cool. If you don't have the Pokemon, you get 3, just like you kind of would in the wild, and, only 1 if you already have the Pokemon. And that's a good way to avoid farming. Again, I guess technically you could still farm, but to constantly have those Pokemon in and trying to farm the candies one at a time would probably suck, but you could probably still do it, especially if you only needed candies for a certain amount of Pokemon. Trade history. This is where you can see all your recent trades and transaction of Pokemon. It will also show you if you've lost or gained Stardust from the trade. So that's basically his idea for trade. There is some things that, of course, I think need work, like the IVs and the movesets, but other than that, it's a pretty cool workaround, and I've never really seen a trade kind of concept, so it's kind of cool to see this guy's take on it. So, journey. The journey of a Pokemon trainer has not always been just about capturing all the Pokemon. It's also about being a versatile trainer as well. That's why I added Journey, so it adds another dimension for Pokemon Go. It's time to collect badges. So now it's almost like gyms, where instead of just attacking a gym, you also get badges. Now, as you can see here, this kind of shows his stages. He has gym wins 50, but only 2 badges, so I'm sure he'll go into that a little after when I continue reading. His Pokedex, it's almost like your trainer card. When you go into your trainer card in the handheld games, you have your badge count, how many Pokemon you have, and kind of your battle wins and stuff like that. So this is pretty cool. I like this. You have almost like achievements here. Get to level 20, win 15 gym battles. I think having this kind of achievement set up without it being like, these daily achievements that a lot of these other games have that are kind of annoying after a while or repetitive, it's kind of cool to have these achievements almost in a way that it's not just like getting a badge like we do now, where it's just like, hey, look, you got, 500 eggs. You actually see over here in your trainer card what you have, and maybe even other trainers can see what you have. But let's get into that a little bit more. So how it works. On the left, it will show your current stats. To earn a badge, complete the following tests on the bottom. This feature can go with certain bonuses Niantic has already rolled out. Completing the challenges and receiving a badge will also earn you items and XP. If you click the top right card button, it will show you your trainer card. The trainer card will be visible to those who have added in your who you've added in your Pokegear, in which we will get to, not to mention battle rank. So it looks like what he's saying is you can actually get, these would almost be like achievements to then get a badge. So there are other games that do similar things where you kind of achieve these certain, goals, and then you get a higher rank. So this would kind of be how to get a badge. I do like that idea. I think that's pretty cool, playing off some of those other things, and it won't be as annoying. It'll just be like basically getting badges now, but it won't be like in the way constantly, because you'll have to find it here. And then your trainer card, where you can see other players that you've added to your Pokegear, which again I think is pretty cool. I'm sure he's going to go into later down the road, but that's pretty cool to have that as well, to be able to talk to other trainers and have them view your profile. But let's get into the Battle Center. So Pokemon Battles is something I am extremely excited for. Battle Center is where trainers battle other trainers with their Pokemon. This is another way to make your Pokemon more powerful and earn bragging rights. So as you can see here, you have like a team of Pokemon. It says 8 battles remaining. As you win battle rank Baron, so I'm assuming you would get battle ranks the more you win, and then you get all these candies and all these rewards for winning. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what he says about that. So how it works. In order to battle with other trainers, you would need to walk 5 kilometers. Why? Well, this is the original Pokemon game as well. You would walk to find opponents, and this is no different. This is also part of Niantic's vision of keeping people active while playing Pokemon Go. Every 5 kilometers traveled will earn you a battle. After picking the 6 Pokemon in which you will battle with, it will pair you up with a live opponent. Note, the length of finding the opponent will depend on the active users, which should be no problem. After the battle, you will receive XP bonuses and items. You'll also earn candy for Pokemon that you battle with and additional Stardust. So basically, it seems like you walk, you unlock a battle, you can choose, I'm sure you can choose to battle or not. It's probably dependent on if you have a Battle Center activated, and then you would be able to like automatically get paired with someone, throw in your Pokemon, and battle them for rewards. Battle Rank. Battle Rank is a ranking system used to determine the level of the trainer. The higher the rank, the better the reward. So you would probably be facing other trainers in the same rank as you or similar ranks, and you would also get better rewards. I do really like this system. I do also hope that they do implement something where you can actually battle with your friends and it's not just random. I think this is a nice alternative, but I think it would just be cool to have both, maybe, where you can battle with random players, but you can also battle with players face to face, because I'd love to just battle with my brother, or, battle with one of you guys if I found you, playing the game somewhere that I was playing the game, or you came up to me while I was playing and we could just battle. That would be really cool. So hopefully they do that too. So let's get into the Pokegear. Pokegear was introduced in the Johto region as a communication device and also being now utilized in Pokemon Go. Pokegear will allow trainers to send off status updates to other trainers to help with their own journey. Trainers can use Pokegear to share status updates and share location by using the last visited Pokestop, or to share what Pokemon they spotted. So that's pretty cool. You kind of could still use the Pokestops, which I think would make Niantic happy. So how it works. I know there is a lot of third-party tracking software and websites, but I truly believe this will be a great option for trainers to use with their friends to find Pokemon. Trainers can post a last seen Pokemon to other trainers and will show a map of where the Pokemon is. So if you come across a rare Pokemon, why not share it? Trainers can also share status updates of anything random through text. Lastly, trainers can share their location by using the last visited Pokestop. Potentially more features can be added to Pokegear, such as radio, just a suggestion. I think that's a good idea. I like the, where you can kind of post to other people and that you can see where you can post where a rare Pokemon is, which is awesome, because then if you have friends in the area and you're all split up to find Pokemon and you find one, then they can come running to you. The only thing is, if this is to random people and not just to your friend group, I have a feeling that there could be a lot of spam involved. So I would make sure that it was only to people that you had friends with and probably not random people, and that hopefully you could block people and stuff like that. I think there would be a lot of code that would go into that, but it would be pretty cool to have that, especially with a small group of friends. And a radio would just be awesome to be able to like communicate with your friends, like, hey, there's a Dragonite over here, you guys might want to get over here. That would be really cool. So let's see. So this is another just some mock-up. So last Pokestop visited, last Pokemon seen Mischievous 5 minutes ago. So, and it has a map of where they are, so the other players can run over to where you found it, and then it'll show where you visited Pokestop. I think this is cool as long as it doesn't get too spammy. Okay, now items in shop. There's a lot of items he's added here. Items have always been used as an advantage in Pokemon games, and in Pokemon Go it is no different. I've decided to add some new items that aren't necessarily new, but might find nostalgic from the original Pokemon games. The items I have added are the new, and all the originals will still exist as part of Pokemon Go. So there are some items that aren't new that we've seen in other games that would be awesome to have in the game, like the Ancient Potion. I think that's in the old game. The Rainbow Wing and the Silver Wing. a lot of these. The GS Ball, I think, is also in the games. I'm sorry if I don't get those right. I haven't played the older games in a very long time. But, so, let's see. Menu. With lots of items, now we change the menu design a little bit. Trainers can now switch back and forth between categories. That's nice. So you can see here on the left, he's got the shop, so you can go right into the shop. And then you can go to Pokeballs, Trainer, items, care items, medicine, and key items, which I think is really cool. That's a good way to organize it a little bit better. Right now, it's definitely not organized. And if you're going to combine the items and the shop, it really, really needs to be organized. So I do really like that idea. Key items can be obtained through special events scheduled for Pokemon Go. Here I've added a couple items that may seem familiar. The wings and bells are required to summon legendary Pokemon, Ho-Oh and Lugia, and GS Ball is required to capture Celebi. Yeah, so those are in the game. So instead of having like crazy events to catch the Pokemon, Niantic could do an event where you can get these items and then you could summon the Pokemon to try and catch them. Medicine, with the introduction to the legendary Pokemon, I've created a special potion and revive. Any regular potion or revive will not work on a legendary Pokemon. I've decided to add this so that a trainer will have to strategically decide whether to use a legendary Pokemon in a battle, which is nice because then you won't have spams and spams of Mewtwo's and Lugias and all those things, which is, I think, a very good idea. All of these awesome items, I'm not going to go into every single one, but I like the idea, like the Blessed Egg that's filled with happiness earns double XP for 60 minutes. I really want them to add an item like that. Of course, the Master Ball, a Pokeball with the ultimate level of performance, catch anything without fail. I like a lot of these things, and I definitely think it would be awesome. Rare candies to increase CP. I just think that's awesome, and those things, they should have been in the game when it just came out, and I mean, it's just, put them in the game, Niantic. Care, so care, you'd have Pokepuffs and rare candies or treats found in the games that affects your trainer's Pokemon positively. It will increase the CP of the Pokemon that it's given to. The technical machine, or commonly known as the in-game's TM, changes the moves of the Pokemon. Now that would be really nice. Let me see. Technical machine changes the moves of one. Okay, that would be really awesome. That's something I really want. I want to be able to change move sets of my Pokemon, especially like I have a Gyarados that has Twister and Bite, the worst move set. There's no way I'm gonna get another 400 candies anytime soon, and it sucks. So I'd love to be able to use something to change the moveset. It can't get any worse. So if the moveset changes to even something a little bit better, I'll be happy. And then you also have take a gamble and hope it turns out better. The grooming kit will be a more common item compared to the Pokepuffs and rare candies. It will slightly raise the Pokemon CP anywhere from 25 to 50. Then you have trainer items. These items will benefit the trainers whether it is an addition XP or items. The Blessed Egg is a godly version of the Lucky Egg, and it is extremely rare. I decided to give myself 18, though. Compared to the Lucky Egg, the Blessed Egg will provide an hour of double XP. The Miracle Chest is another trainer-affecting item, just like in the Pokemon games. Items and XP are completely random, so good luck. Batteries are used for the footprint identifier for unknown footprints left by wild Pokemon. One of my favorite items is the Nugget, somewhat useless in the games where it just had a high resale value, but in Pokemon Go we decided to change that. You can trade a Nugget for Pokecoins to be used in the shop to buy whatever you need. I like that idea, I just don't think Niantic would do it because then they'd be less likely to make more money on it. So, and then Pokeballs, with the inclusion of legendary Pokemon, a Master Ball is mandatory. So there you go, you'd have the Pokeball option in the shop. Now, his legendary Pokemon proposal. We know that they exist in Pokemon Go. The sightings of Articuno in Ohio confirmed it all. Now, what Niantic has planned for us is the real mystery. However, I have a few ideas on how we can summon these beasts. Trainers can distinguish a legendary by the aura around the Pokemon. So you can see that it's kind of got this purpley mist around it, and it's got these, leaves around it and stuff. Celebi can appear anywhere in the wild, but good luck capturing it. Like Pokemon Crystal, Celebi can only be caught using the GS Ball. The GS Ball can only be obtained through a special event, but we will let Celebi roam around the world. For those who encounter it, may appreciate it or be extremely frustrated. Either way, there's only one way to capture it. Which I understand, so like, if you got lucky enough to get the ball in the event, then you could catch the Celebi, but if you didn't, then it would go away, which would kind of suck. I feel like that would be really frustrating, especially if like your friend had the ball and they could catch it and you couldn't, but I understand that. It kind of goes through with the other games. Here you have the bell and the feather to get Ho-Oh, and the feather and this bell to get Lugia. Ho-Oh and Lugia. The legendary Ho-Oh and Lugia can be summoned by obtaining 2 pieces of key rare items, a rainbow wing and a clear bell needed to summon Ho-Oh, and a silver wing and title bell is needed for Lugia. Trainers will need to activate both items at the same time when Ho-Oh or Lugia appears. trainers will only have 10 minutes to capture the legendary beast. I would suggest having a Master Ball ready, or at least 500 Ultra Balls. Can just picture your fingers getting tired after this one. Once the 10 minutes is up, the legendary Pokemon and its key items will disappear. So that's kind of a nice way to get around having too many people in one area trying to catch one Pokemon, and maybe preventing it from running away, which would be nice, especially if you had a Master Ball. Now, future considerations, environmental. I've thought of adding environmental as factors in Pokemon Go. I believe Niantic and Google has this infrastructure to pull it off. They already do stuff similar to that. Gender Pokemon and breeding is something I thought about. I'm sure Niantic has thoughts about this as well. I hope so, because breeding is a big part of the game. Unknown, a massive reward if you capture all 26 different types. Maybe that will summon Entei. That would be awesome. Entei is actually my favorite Pokemon, so it would be really cool to be able to capture Unknown and try and find Unknown somehow, even if they're Easter eggs in the game, and then be able to get Entei, because I love Entei. Final thoughts. Thank you for looking at this. You know, I love working on UI and UX. I definitely think this guy, Albert, is, you know, a great game designer, at least from what I've seen, and he obviously worked really hard on this, so definitely give him some love. Check out this article for yourselves. I do really think it was very well thought out, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. Again, I know this video is very long, but there was a lot to cover, and I just really wanted to just show you everything that this guy thought up. So again, there's his email if you want to take a look and you want to email him and give your suggestions and ideas. Don't spam him with anything, you know, mean or rude or anything. Just, you know, let him know if you like his ideas or not, but and let him know that I sent you. So if you're gonna be nice, which I'm sure you will, because you're all awesome so far. So yeah, so that's basically it for the video. Like I said, I do agree with a lot of these. There are some things that would need some tweaking, and I'm not sure if Niantic will do these things. However, I really hope they do. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment down below. Let me know your ideas for Pokemon Go. Let me know what you think about these ideas, and I'd just be interested to know if you think any of these ideas would actually work or would even have a potential of being implemented by Niantic. And subscribe if you haven't already. As always, thanks for watching, and stay dorky.